We are at the precipice of unstoppable great change. And I think it's going to hit us like a fucking tsunami. And I think we're just really fortunate to be alive at this time.
Yes.
Where the whole world is going to shift in a really wild way. And I think one of the things you're seeing from whether it is these corporations or these government entities that are trying to control narratives, this is like them trying to grasp at the last bits of control that are potentially available. But I think inevitably they're going to lose.
That is right, Joe. There is no stopping the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. And despite Bitcoin dropping to 26K, which is kind of par for the course this point along in the cycle, major bullish news as the Bitcoin halving, some project could shoot Bitcoin near 400K. And not to mention, right in time for the halving, some mining companies have made some major breakthroughs that could, quote, redefine the industry. We get a lot to cover. Let's get it.
And then another aspect of Simply Bitcoin, which I think resonates with a lot of people, right, is, look, the shitcoin channels do something really well, right? They do the thumbnails and the clickbait, they do it super well. So we thought with Simply Bitcoin, instead of speculating on the price and all that garbage that they talk about, right, we'll keep the clickbait, we'll create the thumbnails like the shitcoin channels, but when you tune into Simply Bitcoin, all you're getting is signal, right? That's what we try to do. That's what we're going to keep doing, and we're not going to stop until those shitcoin channels, period.
Love the fire right there from our fearless leader, Nico. Send all those shitcoins to zero. And now let's get to it. We got this thread from Blockware Solutions, how Bitcoin can reach 400K during the next halving epoch. Unlike other commodities, Bitcoin has predetermined algorithmic supply schedule that cannot be changed. There are multiple factors contributing to the cyclical nature of Bitcoin's price, including a network adoption and the macroeconomic environment. But the most impactful is the mining subsidy halving. Bitcoin's market cycles are unique due to its fully transparent blockchain time chain, providing market participants with more granular information than any other asset class. Moreover, the predictable supply schedule further impacts the psychology of market participants, i.e. demand. Now let's get into the charts, but what he's talking about is the cyclical nature and almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. Miners are the primary force of sell pressure on the price of Bitcoin. They receive all of the newly issued Bitcoin, a majority of which they must sell in order to fund operating expenses for their mining operations. The weakest miners on the network are eliminated and sell pressure is significantly reduced. The price of Bitcoin begins drifting up and a new wave of adoption begins. And this is what you can see in this chart. Now, assuming a 35,000 Bitcoin price approximation after the halving, the USD value of Bitcoin mined per year could drop from 11.5 billion to 5.7 billion. Put that in perspective, that is 164,250 less Bitcoin mined every year, and that's more than MicroStrategy's entire Bitcoin treasury. After the inefficient miners capitulate, the profit margin increases for the surviving miners, which further reduces sell pressure. I love getting into these economic dynamics, the supply, the demand, the behavior, the human action involved, but based on the post-capitalization hash rate estimate, this would result in 2.3 billion reduced in annual sell pressure from the miners, so more hodling, creating a supply shock. Now let's get to the next chart. And with the halving comes new surges in demand. With supply being diminished, demand is the only remaining variable determining the market price of Bitcoin. And many market participants understand the supply side dynamics at play due to the halvings. Historically, this has led to a surge in demand in the months following each halving. And that is shown in this chart here. Now, due to the positive sentiment, market participants prepare to deploy capital at the first sign of upward momentum. So a little game theory coming into play: decreased supply plus increased demand equals a strong positive signal for price appreciation. All right, here we go. Bitcoin price, all-time highs to percent of supply available. Halvings cannot be priced in. Despite their predictable nature, halvings cannot be fully priced in before they occur. A higher price today would result in more miners coming online, and this would introduce additional sell pressure, limiting price appreciation. Moreover, the weakest miners, those with old generation machines and or high operating costs, are the first to unplug post-halving. The elimination of these miners significantly reduces sell pressure as they were selling most of their Bitcoin to fund operations. Lastly, there are some market participants that believe halvings are bad for the security of the network, as the diminishing subsidy reduces the amount of miners making Bitcoin more vulnerable to an attack. When halvings successfully occur, these doubters are proved wrong and positive sentiment increases. All right, now let's get into Bitcoin's cycle volatility and historical performance. Bitcoin's extreme volatility is a side effect of its halving shocks and rapid global adoption, resulting in 4 distinct stages within each halving cycle. First, the halving, the bull market, the bear market, and the recovery. While Bitcoin is often criticized for its extreme volatility on a long enough time horizon, its volatility is solely to the upside. It's going up forever, Laura, and nobody who has ever bought Bitcoin and held it for more than 5 years is down on their purchase. Now, for each epoch, the price of Bitcoin has increased by the following amounts from the halving to bull market top: 09 to 11, 584x, 2012 to 2015, 92x, 2016 to 2019, 30x, and from 2020 to 2024, 7.7x. Now, taking a look at this chart, diminishing returns may not be the case going forward. Some question the bullishness of halvings as the stock of existing Bitcoin grows relative to the amount of new Bitcoin being mined. This is a common perspective, but may be incorrect. Less than 10% of existing Bitcoin have moved, and the last month, a large majority of Bitcoin is held by users unwilling to sell at today's price. The small amount of Bitcoin that is moving and being traded is what determines today's price, and there is a baseline of demand from Bitcoiners saving for their futures. The reduction in sell pressure becomes more pronounced each halving after Bitcoin more than doubles in price. Going back to chart 1, and this indicates that having induced reductions in sell pressure could become more extreme and potentially lead to larger bull runs in the future. Now, going back to chart 3, 2024 will be the first halving where the supply of Bitcoin available for trade decreased since the previous halving. During the spring of 2020, the percentage of outstanding Bitcoin available for trade was at an all-time high, indicating that Bitcoin was becoming more abundant. However, this trend has reversed over the last 3.5 years. As a new bull market begins, there will be less Bitcoin available than previous cycles, the first halving this has ever occurred. Assuming a price of 35K at the date of halving, a 400,000 cycle top would break the trend of diminishing returns, a reasonable expectation due to the 2 billion halving supply shock and increasing scarcity of liquid Bitcoin supply. And then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, after the 2024 halving, the inflation rate of Bitcoin will fall under 1%, which is less than half of that of gold. 400,000 per Bitcoin would put the market cap of Bitcoin just beneath parity with gold, and given the bullish catalyst induced by the halving, not to mention the spot ETFs, etc., we believe this is a fair estimate for the top of the coming Bitcoin cycle. And guys, the halving is approaching. It looks like it's going to hit this April. Major bullish developments. Make sure you're stacking and taking advantage of these dips because they're few and far between. But as we're talking halving, let's get into some major mining news, as Canaan is to debut an industry redefining Bitcoin mining product at their September 12th gala. And here is the outtake. Canaan said it will debut a groundbreaking industry redefining product that will shape the future of Bitcoin mining on September 12th at a gala celebrating its 10th anniversary. Exciting. Still murky on what all of that means, but that's not all we have. This one is pretty exciting. Okay, here we go. A UK research group, QBT, developed an algorithmic search method reportedly improving Bitcoin ASIC's efficiency and winning result probabilities up to 260%. So let's check this out. All right, and here we go. Quantum Blockchain Technologies, a research company in the UK, developed AI-powered algorithms that could significantly increase the mining probability of certain ASIC Bitcoin miners. Its CEO, Francisco Gardin, said in an interview with Cointelegraph. Gardin unpacked how QBT has incorporated AI to enable the smart search of winning hashes as an alternative to conventional random searches. QBT's machine learning teams have developed 2 different algorithmic search methods, which reportedly improve the ASIC miners by increasing efficiency and winning result probabilities. Method A is said to improve their efficiency by 10%, while Method B is set to improve the probability of a miner finding a winning hash by 260%. The team is also designing new architecture for ASIC mining chips to optimize Bitcoin mining, detailed in a recent patent application. Okay, guys, and we have the patent here. That'll be down in the show notes. Not going to go through all of it, but just the summary here. MSFCA can perform pre-calculations for future Bitcoin blocks before the current block block is closed, and it allows miners to use less logic gates, thus lower energy cost. Implementation can be made to QBT's current SHA-256 architecture with feasible modifications. Effective potential area saving is around 8%. While the FUD is spreading about Bitcoin miners with the approaching halving, yes, there are some interesting competition and dynamics at play, but there are some major bullish dynamics, and the fact of the matter is, if you can hodl and survive and stay strong through the bear market, and especially this mighty bear market of 2023, past performance is not a guarantee of future return, but if history rhymes, things are looking good for those that are able to grind it out. And not to mention, a lot of people say, Bitcoin's going to be reliant on the spot Bitcoin ETF for it to have a super bullish run, but in this article, the Bitcoin supply crisis would trigger a Bitcoin bull market even if the ETF bid gets denied, and this kind of goes back to the thread that we began with. Let's take a look. A lot of debate on the Bitcoin halving and whether it actually makes an impact on the price. I would say due to supply issue and block reward cut in half that the Bitcoin halving definitely has an impact on price, but the impact on price is delayed usually by a couple months. And again, this goes back to the thread at the beginning of today's show. Still, even if ETF was denied, though I don't see it happening this time, with the Bitcoin supply crisis at hand, it's very likely Bitcoin would continue to uptrend throughout 2024 after an ETF denial dump. Sample size for the Bitcoin halving is low, but one can't deny the fundamentals and impact that a decrease in block reward has on overall price over the following years. One more exciting mining development, Bitmain unveiling the S21 Bitcoin miner at the 2023 World Digital Mining Summit in Hong Kong, and Bitmain says the S21 will be the market's most proficient mining machine, shifting industry into the 1x joules per terahash era. All right, now guys, with all of these bullish developments, you want to make sure that you're taking care of your generational wealth the right way, using best practices, using open source software, throwing that KYC shit in the trash can, and no better place to get that done. They will walk you through it step by step at the Bitcoin way. We get asked all the time what wallet to use, what node to use, and we've got you covered. Head over to the Bitcoin way and they will get you set up with a personalized Bitcoin setup to fit your specific needs. The Bitcoin way is your IT team in the Bitcoin world. We have a link in the show notes so you can head over there to get any help you need with wallet and node setup, no KYC Bitcoin purchases, inheritance planning, Bitcoin payment systems, help your family and friends be sovereign out of the gate. Send them over to the Bitcoin way and they will be there to walk them through their Bitcoin journey step by step with over 30 years of IT and cybersecurity experience. Again, guys, be sure to check out the Bitcoin way. All right, here we go. One last piece of bullish mining news. If you guys saw yesterday's episode, you saw Greg Foss describe how Blackrock and Larry Fink basically put all the ESG, the Greenpeace energy FUD, to bed. And adding to that, a new Bitcoin and crypto mining lobbying voice is headed to Washington to promote Bitcoin mining and the greatest money ever created or discovered. And guys, I just don't think we're bullish enough. Here we have the important dates for the Bitcoin ETF filings from Bloomberg. First up, October 5th, Grayscale versus SEC and the conversion of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust to a spot Bitcoin ETF. We thought maybe we were going to get that this Friday. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. We'll have our ears to the ground on that one. January 10th, Cathie Wood and ARK Invest final deadline. And then March 14th, BlackRock and Fidelity, the big dogs, final deadlines. And the halving is estimated in April. Now, I don't know about you, but there is plenty to be bullish about, and make sure you are stacking those sets while they're on discount. If you like today's episode, check out this one with Giga Chad, Michael Saylor, and Larry the Legend Lepard discussing how Bitcoin will 10x, then 10x again. Like, subscribe, and spread the sound money gospel. Be sure to follow Simply Bitcoin on Twitter for the latest news, as well as the Substack Simply Bitcoin Unfiltered. Share the Simply signal, and keep tuning into Simply Bitcoin every day, and we will be your guide through the peaceful revolution. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.